It's official. We finally have more news about the shows that Marvel Studios will be launching on Disney's new streaming service. And while Netflix has bit the dust as far as the parent company is concerned, Hulu on the other hand is stepping up, partnering with Marvel on 4 animated shows: Howard the Duck, MODOK, Hitmonkey, and Tigra and Dazzler. On top of all that, the 4 shows will have a crossover special that's called The Offenders, similar to what Marvel did with Netflix for its Defenders series. So today we are breaking down the essentials and everything you need to know about these upcoming properties with our list of the top 10 Marvel The Offenders facts. Let's jump in. And at number 10, synopses. For starters, what will these 4 shows entail? While we've been given minimal details about what to expect, Hulu has released a synopsis for each of the shows, all of which are estimated to premiere in 2020 or afterwards. First, let's look at Howard the Duck's. His reads, Marvel's Howard the Duck is trapped in a world he never made, but America's favorite fighting fowl hopes to return home with the help of his unstoppable gal pal Beverly, before the evil Dr. Bond can turn him into the crispiest dish on the menu. MODOK's reads, Marvel's MODOK centers around an egomaniacal supervillain with a really big head and a really little body, who struggles to maintain control of his evil organization and his demanding family. Next up we have Hitmonkey. Marvel's Hitmonkey tells the tale of a wronged Japanese snow monkey, mentored by the ghost of an American assassin, as he cuts a wide swath through the Tokyo underworld in this darkly cinematic and brutally funny revenge saga. Then, for Tigra and Dazzler, Marvel's Tigra and Dazzler show is a story about 2 woke superheroes and best friends, Tigra and Dazzler, as they fight for recognition among powered people who make up the 8 million stories in Los Angeles. And last but not least, The Offenders. Marvel's The Offenders is a story in which nobody asked them to, and we'd be better off if they didn't. MODOK, Dazzler, Tigra, Hitmonkey, and Howard the Duck are all forced to team up in order to save the world and certain parts of the universe. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually really excited just based off of these. And at number 9, who's behind them? The second biggest question many of you might have is who are the creatives behind each of the shows? Jeff Loeb will be executive producing on all 5 of the shows, and the team of writers and producers behind each of them individually is impressive as hell. On Tigra and Dazzler, writers Erica Rivanoja from South Park fame and Chelsea Handler serve as executive producers. On Hitmonkey, the same thing goes for Josh Gordon and Will Speck as writers and exec producers. MODOK will be written by Jordan Blum and Patton Oswalt. And Howard the Duck, the team behind his show consists of Kevin Smith and Dave Willis, the latter being one of the co-creators of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Moving on to number 8, previous adaptations. Out of all these characters headlining these new shows, only one of them has had a previous adaptation, Howard the Duck. Aside from making a small cameo in the MCU and a credit scene, the character got a pretty cringe-worthy adaptation in the 80s. It's noteworthy for not only the somewhat terrifying supercuts that people put together of it and posted up on YouTube, but also for the fact that it was the first theatrically released feature film starring a Marvel character, after the 1944 black and white serial Captain America adaptation back when Marvel was still Timely Comics, of course. George Lucas was an executive producer on the film, and it's generally considered to be one of the worst movies of all time, having been a huge commercial and critical failure, making about half of its $30 million budget back. According to screenwriter Gloria Katz, who ignored Howard's more sophisticated traits, it's a film about a duck from outer space. It's not supposed to be an existential experience. More on that later though. Up next, number 7, in the comics. Those of you familiar with the Offenders team in the comics might be a little surprised to see the roster that Marvel and Hulu have put together. The original group was brought together by the Collector in order to face off against the original team of Defenders in a cosmic battle, with the Defenders fighting for the Grandmaster. Oh, sibling rivalries. Anywho, the team consisted of Red Hulk, Baron Mordo, Terrax, and Tiger Shark. The Defenders team at the time was the Hulk, Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, and Namor. So, makes sense. The battle took a turn for the worse when Red Hulk killed Hulk and slaughtered all of the Offenders and the Defenders, even getting himself the power cosmic. The Grandmaster and Collector had to rewrite history and erase the match from existence because of how sour it went. So what does this tell us about the shows? Well, absolutely nothing. There's no connection between the Offenders in the comics and the ones that have been revealed for these series, minus the fact that some of them have been involved in cosmic adventures. That being said, if you look at what Marvel did with the Defenders on Netflix, they're following a similar formula in terms of setting up a massive crossover, with inspiration from the comics pertaining to the individual characters rather than the team as a whole. And at number 6, getting comical. Let's break down the history of some of these characters and take a look at the approach that Marvel and Hulu seem to be taking with them, starting with MODOK. MODOK is a supervillain who first appeared in Tales of Suspense issue 93 back in 1967, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Typically an antagonist of the Avengers, he's a product of medical experimentation gone wrong over at Advanced Idea Mechanics, turning him, an employee, into a dude with a freakishly large head, genius intellect, and the need to fly around in a chair for mobility. He rebelled against AIM, changing his name from Mental Organism Designed Only for Computing 2. Mental organism designed only for killing. As you can imagine, being a product of the Silver Age, over time in his later appearances, the character has been used as a comic relief villain from time to time, and based on the synopsis of his show, it appears that Marvel and Hulu will be taking him in a similar direction, perhaps turning him into more of an anti-hero as the show progresses. And at number 5, Howard the Duck. Arguably the most well-known of these selected characters, Howard the Duck was created back in 1972 by Steve Gerber and Val Mayerick, and has a history of his narratives being satirical commentaries, alongside using tactics that often break the fourth wall. Now, according to Gerber, Howard the Duck's stories are existentialist tales, and their main joke is the fact that, there is no joke. I quote, "Life's more serious moments and most incredibly dumb moments are often distinguishable only by a momentary point of view." While the show's synopsis doesn't really seem to point one way or the other, considering the character's history and even his brief portrayal voiced by Seth Green in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, it seems likely that Marvel may want to take the character in its intended direction rather than opting out for the lighter tone and arguably incorrect one of its 80s adaptation. And at number 4, Hitmonkey. From most well-known to most obscure, Hitmonkey is actually the newest character of the bunch to be a part of the Offenders. He first came to be in 2010, featured in Deadpool issue 19 volume 4, facing off against the Merc with a Mouth as one of his villains. He was a hit with readers. Sorry, I had to. And that led to the character getting his own 3-issue miniseries. So what's his whole shtick? Well, he's an anthropomorphic monkey gun for hire, known best in the Marvel Universe as being quite capable when it comes to killing assassins. Based on the synopsis for his show, it seems that Marvel and Hulu will be exploring a different origin story for the character. Now in the comics, he is a distrusting monkey who picks up the ways of an unnamed assassin, who has been taken in by said monkey's troop of monkey friends after a failed political coup. After he depicts his capability for violence, the monkey clan disowns him, banishes him, but as Hitmonkey is departing, he sees a new assassin on his way to kill the unnamed assassin, which then also results in his tribe being slaughtered. Determined to avenge his tribe, he takes on the alias of Hitmonkey, devoting his life to killing assassins. While it seems that his revenge saga might pertain to his monkey tribe in the show, the ghost of an American assassin is definitely new to the character as part of his origin. And at 3, Tigra and Dazzler. Tigra and Dazzler have never worked together in the comics, but that might actually change thanks to the upcoming show. So, who are they? Well, Tigra was initially known as the Cat. First appearing in Claws of the Cat issue 1 back in 1972, she would later change her alias to Tigra in Giant-Sized Creatures issue 1 in 1974. She was created alongside Night Nurse and Shauna the She-Devil as a way to pull in more female readers, with Stan Lee looking for a way to expand the Marvel franchise even further. Tigra, aka Greer Grant, was transformed into the Tigra after she was mortally injured by a blast from one of Hydra's alpha radiation pistols. She was taken in by the Cat People, a humanoid race created by sorcery back in the Dark Ages, and in exchange for the protection of their civilization, Greer was offered a second chance at life if she transformed into Tigra. Greer's cat costume would then resurface years later, and Patsy Walker would discover it while accompanying the Avengers, eventually donning it and calling herself Hellcat. Speaking of Avengers, Tigra has a long history fighting with them as a member. Dazzler, on the other hand, first debuted in the pages of another team's comic, Uncanny X-Men issue 130 back in 1980. She's a mutant with the ability to convert sound vibrations into energy beams and light, and was initially the product of a commission project between Marvel and Casablanca Records, with the intention of her being crafted like a member of KISS, yet being made to look like Bo Derek. She's definitely come a long way since. Which actually brings us to our next point, and at number 2, the first X-Men character. For those of you privy to who owns what in terms of studios and rights, you may be surprised to see Dazzler as part of these Disney Marvel studio shows. That's because Dazzler is technically an X-Men character, and a Fox property. While the Disney Fox acquisition isn't entirely complete yet, it seems that perhaps a deal has been struck up with Marvel to use the character soon. This means that Dazzler will technically be the very first mutant X-Men character to be introduced by Marvel Studios. While her past with the X-Men may be ignored for the purposes of the series, her origins as a mutant are not so avoidable. That being said, it seems that by the time the show airs, the acquisition deal will be complete, so be curious to see if the show will address her being a mutant and what that could mean for the greater MCU. And finally, in at number 1, a 5th member. Upon the announcement, Jeff Loeb had somewhat hinted that there may be a 5th character joining the Offenders as somewhat of a leader figure, although he was tight-lipped about the matter. While there's been zero confirmation beyond that, this hasn't stopped speculation. The strongest theory at the moment is that we'll be seeing an animated version of the Collector making an appearance, bringing them all together. That being said, considering the premise of the Offenders show, with it being, them saving the world, it seems more likely that another common element will bring them together instead. So hit us up with theories in those comments below. Alright, that's it for now, friends. What do you think about all these upcoming shows? Do you think animation was the right way to go? And which ones are you the most excited for? Personally, I'm really looking forward to Tigra and Dazzler, which kinda surprised me since Dazzler is often considered a bit of a joke thanks to her history in the comics. But Chelsea Handler at the helm is definitely something to be stoked for. Give us a shout in those comments below and give us your 2 cents. If you dug this video, hey, why not spread that love? Hit that like button. And if you'd like to hang out with us some more, click subscribe. We've also got a nifty little playlist currently flashing on your screen that you should totally give a click. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.